police. Now in Aurora right now, this severe weather forced hundreds of protesters to take cover during the height of the storm.
Yeah, as that line moved right across, as Mike just showed us. Denver 7's Lance Hernandez joins us live. And Lance, once the storms moved through, are protesters back out there?
They are. You know, that windy squall caused a scurry a little bit earlier, about 3:45 this afternoon, sent everybody running to the overhang of the Aurora Municipal Building. Then they got inside for a few minutes and then were able to continue their little protest outside. I'm here in front of the municipal building where hundreds have gathered. They're here to remember Elijah McClain and a number of other people who have lost their lives at the hands of Aurora police. Now, one of the speakers here was a Dr. Ryan Ross. He says, I like Martin, I like Malcolm. He talked about Martin Luther King's dream, said we can no longer defer that dream. It's time to take action. He said black people have been brutalized in this country since August of 1619. That's when the first slaves got off one of the ships from Africa. Denver School Board member Tay Anderson also spoke. He said black African-American children have always been an afterthought at DPS, and we're not doing that anymore. He made mention of the plan to do away with school resource officers. One of the other speakers here also talked about violence within the community itself. He said that they need to deal with that violence as well as focus on police. You know, the folks here want systemic change and they want accountability. That's what they're rallying for tonight. Lance Hernandez, Denver 7.
All right, thank you so much, Lance. And in downtown Denver, police on loudspeakers warned protesters to take shelter during the storm, but the pouring rain did not scare anyone away.
And earlier today, some new players were leading the march, namely the Denver Broncos. Denver 7's Sloan Dickey joins us live from Civic Center Park, where, Sloan, you found that the tone is changing now, day 10 of demonstrations out there.
I think that the organizers of these protests will be really happy to look back over these past few days. The organization and the focus around that message of George Floyd. Of course, as you mentioned, the big news today was those Denver Broncos leading the march. If you look behind me, there's still a few protesters coming back and forth. Behind the camera is the Capitol building, where there's several hundred protesters standing and waiting to chant and continue listening to speakers throughout the evening. But I want to direct your attention over here. This is a kind of a smaller exhibit. It's an interactive flower exhibit for George Floyd. If you look in the center is those black squares that we saw so much this week. And people have been encouraged to come up and lay flowers down. The organizers of this exhibit say this is another example of people rallying around that message of justice. Broncos players today showed solidarity with the George Floyd protesters.
Oh, I think it's wonderful just seeing all the actors out and everybody out just willing to give their word on it. I think it's going to take everybody to make a change.
As they marched for the 10th day.
The fact that it's day 10 is fascinating to me, that, you know, we're still recognizing that we still got work to do.
The frustration and anger over the death of George Floyd remaining constant as protesters continue to respond to what they see as overly aggressive police.
This change is a long time coming, and we can't just stop. Too many people have lost their lives in the hands of the police.
Broncos players not the only ones sharing their talents and passions.
We wanted to create a art activism piece with flowers to give space and pause to this movement.
Florists.
I would guess about 7,500 stems of flowers.
Making a tribute in support of Black Lives Matter.
It's a statement of support, and we're here to learn and be allies.
George Floyd!
The streets of Denver over the past 10 days have seen violence and solidarity, anger and activism. But this weekend, they hope for one more.
Just to, I don't know, look at something beautiful and walk away and see the beauty in each other.
On this 10th day of protesting,
walk away in a positive way, which I think we need reminders of.
Hoping the city can pull together. Now, in terms of the weather, we did hear those loudspeakers requesting that people leave the area for right now because of those heavy winds and rain. However, it's pretty dry right now, and there's still lots of people out peacefully protesting on this 10th day. They say their message is getting heard. Reporting live, Sloan Dickey, Denver 7.